Fear is the only thing in your way of living the life of your dreams. And if you want to win in life, it starts with your next decision. And it's my desire that you're always winning. So in this conversation, we are just talking about how to win in life. Welcome to the Dream Lifestyle Podcast, where we cover all things mindset, goals, and self-leadership. If that is interesting to you, please be sure to subscribe, be sure to like, be sure to comment with the content, simply because that allows for the show to go out to more people just like you, dreamers like yourself, who have goals they want to hit and they want to overcome fear and they want to take big action to achieve a life of impact that they desire. So be sure to do that for me. I'd really appreciate it. It would mean the world to me. And I'm grateful to have you here today, because in this conversation, we're having a very, I'll call it a foundational conversation. We're basically just talking about the keys to winning in life. And to be more specific, I'm just going to be sharing with you 7 keys that I believe are very important for each and every one of us, regardless of what level we're at, regardless of, what we have, regardless of what we're doing. That these are 7 keys that each of us need to always evaluate, 7 keys that we all need to be reminded of when we think about going to the next level in our lives. And I believe that they're very practical. So let me be clear. This is not going to be a, get good habits and get around the right people and everything like that. No. I'm going to be very specific with the keys. They're going to be very practical, and they're going to be things that once you hear the key, you'll be able to really evaluate it and line it up with your life and really see if there's any changes that need to be made. Because ultimately, with this entire show, this entire platform, I want you to take action, okay? And so the first thing that you're going to need to do if you want to win in life, what is the first key to winning in life? The first key is to define what success is. And this is important because we all need a target. There is no point in you just doing a whole bunch of stuff if you never actually determine what the finish line is. No one runs a race without actually knowing what the end point is. No one actually does anything that's meaningful without knowing what the end goal is. And for you, when you think about your life, you need to be able to define, okay, this is what success is to me. And you make it personal. You don't make success something, that is universal. You don't make success something that is what your parents want you to do. I want you to define success in a manner where it means something to you. I want you to define success in a manner that it really has value to you. It's something that drives you. It's something that motivates you. And again, it just means something to you. But it starts when you think about winning in life. You need to first understand, what is success to me? And this is something that I want you to think about, not just in the context of your work. I want you to apply this to your finances. I want you to apply this to your relationships. I want you to apply this to your friendships. Any area of your life, you should have some clear written down statement of, this is what success looks like in this area of my life. And it's when you do this, you are basically giving yourself a target to go for. You're giving yourself a target to aim for. You're giving yourself information necessary so you can make winning decisions. Because winning in life is basically just making winning decisions. And if you have no target, it's impossible for you to really even make those winning decisions. And so when you think about just the first key to winning in life, the first key is just define what success is to you. Once you define what success is to you, the second key is you need to believe that you can actually win. You need to believe that you are the person that can win, that you are capable of winning. And this is important because for a lot of us, when we think about that fear is what causes us to doubt ourselves. And because we're afraid of taking the action necessary, we question whether or not we're qualified to achieve whatever the goal is that's on our heart. And so when you think about the goals that you have, the dreams that you have, you need to understand, just as a key point in winning in life, that you actually believe that you can win. And this is just holistic. This is before we even get to, the nuts and bolts of what information you need to get and what skills you need to learn and master and networking opportunities you need to take advantage of and everything like that. You just need to know from the jump, before the race begins, that you actually are going in believing that you can win. You are going into your life, whether you're at the early stage of your life and you're in your early 20s, or you feel like you're at the midpoint of your life and you're in your 40s, whatever age you're at, you need to believe that you can win, that regardless of where you're starting at, you need to believe that you can become debt free. You need to believe that you can have a winning relationship. You need to believe that you can, start the business. You need to believe that you actually can win. You need to believe that you actually can do whatever it is that's on your heart to do. And this is very important. This is where in last conversation we talked about, just your identity as a dreamer. So I'd encourage you to go back and reference that conversation because that goes into this point. But when you think about just living a winning life, winning in life, you need to believe that you can win. Listen, are you doing everything you said you were going to do at the beginning of this year? If you are, great. If you're not, listen, it's okay. I just want to take a moment and invite you to join the wait list for the upcoming symposium where you're going to grow, you're going to set goals, and you're going to strategize for success. Now listen, all it is a wait list. It's totally free. There's no money involved. All you have to do is click the link in the description below. Go ahead and do that now, and then let's get back to the episode. Now, once you define what success is for you, and then you believe that you can win, the third key to winning in life is taking ownership of your decisions. Let me be clear. In order for you to win in life, you're going to need to make winning decisions. And regardless of what your life looks like, you have the power to make decisions because one decision can change your entire life. And when you think about this concept of one decision can change my entire life, that means I have to take full responsibility over the decisions that I make. And this means taking responsibility over the biggest of decisions. When you think about job changes, when you think about opening up certain financial accounts, when you think about working with certain people or working at certain places, whatever it is, to the smallest of decisions, even as small as what you're going to eat for dinner. These decisions you must take full ownership of. There's an amazing book that I read that really drives this point home called Extreme Ownership. And the author of the book, his name is Jocko Willich. I pray that I'm pronouncing his name correctly. But it's an amazing book where he basically talks about how that he's a former Army guy, former Navy SEAL. And he basically talks about how us as human beings, particularly as leaders, and you and I are leaders as dreamers, that we have to take extreme ownership. That meaning, though someone else might have done something, we will never play the blame game when it comes to our life. That with everything around us, we take full ownership of. And because we're in the environment, that means that we can take ownership over our decisions. So what this basically means in real practical terms, if you find yourself doing or playing any type of blame game, feeling like, oh, well, I'm not doing X because this is what somebody else is doing. Or, you just basically put the blame on everybody else, that you're not moving as fast as you want to be because of somebody else. Understand that you're not taking ownership of your decisions. And if you want to win in life, you must take full ownership of your decisions. And that means taking full accountability for your decisions. You're not always going to make the right decision, but you can always make decisions from the right place. And the way in which you do that is by taking ownership of your decisions. You take full accountability for whatever happens in your life. And that's something difficult that a lot of us need to do, but it's necessary in order for us to win in life. Now, staying in that same vein of taking ownership and accountability over our lives, the fourth key to winning in life is knowing your strengths, weaknesses, and blind spots. I don't care what you've accomplished in your life. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care what degrees you have. Each and every one of us has strengths, weaknesses, and blind spots. And it's when we are aware of these three things in our lives, regardless of what level we are on, that we are equipping ourselves to make winning decisions. Because if I know I'm strong in something and I know objectively that I'm strong in X, then I can always basically focus on and make decisions based on that. As well as I'm empowering myself when I acknowledge my weaknesses, when I acknowledge I'm really not that good at fill in the blank. I really don't know much about that topic. I really don't know much about whatever that process, procedure, whatever it may be. But because we're giving ourselves that information and we're just being self-aware about what we're weak at, we can make winning decisions based on that. Winning decisions in the realm of a weakness may just mean, I really don't know much about it, but let me go ask a friend. Let me go read a book. Let me go take a course. Let me go, listen and find the information necessary so that way I can turn that weakness into a strength, as opposed to feeling like or trying to put on a facade that you actually are strong in that area when you know it's really a weakness. So there really is power in just admitting, nah, I'm not that strong in that area, just admitting the weakness. But then third is that blind spot. We all have blind spots. And this is why it's important in terms of having people around you. But when you have good people around you and you start to see certain patterns in terms of things that are happening around you, you can start being more aware of, wait, that's actually a blind spot. And the only way you're able to fully get the most out of your blind spots, the only way you're really able to become aware of your blind spots is that you have people around you that are honest. And again, for you to win in life, you need to know those three things. You need to know your strengths. You just need to know like what you're good at. You need to know what you're talented at. You need to know what you're called to do, what you're gifted in, what you're graced to do. But you need to know your weaknesses. You need to just be brutally honest with yourself about, I'm not that good at that. I really don't know much about that topic. You have to be honest, because when you're honest, now you can do what's necessary to add to yourself, to get the information, to build the skills necessary to win. But you only do that when you're honest. And then third is those blind spots. Each and every one of us has blind spots. Each and every one of us needs to take ownership and accountability of the fact that we have to be open and self-aware about the fact that we have blind spots. And it's that self-awareness of these three things that will allow us to win in life. The fifth key to winning in life is to add value wherever you go. Listen, no one likes a leech. So you will win in life when you make the decision to always add value. You will win in life when you are always determined to give more than you receive. Because when you give more than you receive, people will like you. When you give more than you receive, more doors will open to you. And this idea of adding value really stems from actually understanding the problems that exist in whatever the area is. And once you identify the problems in the area, now you, as a dreamer, can become the solution to those problems and add value, because it is valuable. Because understand, context is important when we think about adding value. But when you think about just you and the places you go, the relationships that you have, you always want to add value. Don't just always go into certain rooms trying to take. Don't go to certain places only having an expectation of, okay, what are they going to do for me? No, you need to be focused on, how do I add value? How do I make things better? How do I allow that whenever I leave a place, I leave places better than when I got there? That needs to be your mentality with everything. And this goes down on the macro level to maybe your job, to even a micro level, to just even a check-in conversation. This idea of just adding value wherever you go, even adding value in whatever you do, this applies to any level in any space. You want to make sure that you are always depositing and giving and sowing into other people, in other places, and other missions, and other purposes, and everything like that, because you're always going to reap what you sow. And when you add value, you will start to see how good you really are. You'll start to get clarity around just what you're called to do. When you always are just focused on, you know what, I want to push whatever this mission, whatever this vision is, wherever I am. I want to push this relationship forward. I want to push my finances forward. I want to push my marriage forward, whatever it is. If I'm always focused on adding value wherever I go, I will be an asset wherever I go. And if I become an asset wherever I go, doors will open for me and I will win in life. And that's the goal. So when you think about your life, and if you want to win in life, I want you to start thinking about, how can you add value wherever you are? And when you focus on adding value, you will start to see a lot of great things happening. But when you think about winning in life, number 5, the 5th key, is you need to add value wherever you go. Now, once you've made this determination to add value wherever you go, the 6th key is that you need to find success models, collaborators, and apprentices. All right, let me break down each of them. Your success model is basically someone who is ahead of you in the journey to success, or they are basically where you want to be. Because let me tell you a little secret about your dream. It's already been done. There's already a blueprint laid to live the life that you desire to live. So the question then becomes, are you willing to walk out the steps necessary to achieve it? And your success model is essentially that person who has walked before you and basically has the information. So you need to identify, who is that success model for me based on what I want to achieve, based on the dream that is in my heart. An easy example, if you want to start a business and be an entrepreneur, there are already plenty of examples of people who have started businesses and are operating very successful businesses. You don't need to reinvent the wheel on how to start a business because that blueprint has already been laid. So you need to just identify, okay, who are one, maybe two, even three success models that have the type of business that I want to have, who are living the life that I want to live. And this, again, I gave the example of starting a business, but this applies to just maybe finances. This applies to marriage. This applies to friendship. This applies to physical health. This applies to any area. But you need to just define and identify success models. Again, people that are just simply ahead of you, people who have already taken the leap of faith, people who have already taken big risks, taken big action, and everything like that, where you can learn from them and you need to connect with them any way, shape, or form. And the way in which you're able to do that most of the time is in a conference setting. You can read their books. You can, join their team, whatever it may be, in whatever space. But you need to connect with your success model. And the way in which you're able to do that is very intentional, usually through a lot of information, resources, media, and such. But you need, in order to win in life, you need to just identify who that success model is. And once you identify the success model, the next people that you want to identify are your collaborators. And these are basically people who, like you, want more. They're in a pursuit for better. They're in pursuit to achieve goals. They're in pursuit to impact the world just like you. So that means there is a lot of congruency when you think about values, when you think about mission, when you think about vision, when you think about purpose. There is consistency with that. And you want to be around other people who want to make the world a better place. You want to be around other people who want to have the impact that you want to make. And those are your collaborators. Those are the people that will understand what you're going through as a dreamer. Those are the people that you can confide in when things get hard. They're the people that you can lean on when you don't have any more energy. They're the people that can empower you to keep going when you feel like quitting. But you need to find some collaborators. Now, be clear. Let me make the distinction between a collaborator and a friend. A friend, we all need friends. But you want to make sure your friend more than likely is just more so for you. Like, they don't necessarily care if you win or you lose, right? These are just people that you're cool with, where, we talk about like sports and things that don't really matter as much. But your collaborators, they are the people that, no, we have this relationship because I know they're working on something and they know I'm working on something, and we keep each other accountable because of it. Now, you may have people in your life that blend the two. You may have people in your life that can wear both hats, and that's amazing, and that's great. I think that's a great way to live. But what I am saying is, just when you think about the relationships that you have specifically in this collaborator category, make sure that you're finding people that have goals themselves that they're looking to achieve, but make sure that also they're holding you accountable to do what you said you were going to do in order to achieve the big goal that's on your heart. And so once you identify the success model like we talked about, the collaborator like we just said, and now you need to identify apprentices. Now, this is where you need to be objective, because depending on the level that you're at, you might not need apprentices. But be clear, somebody is always watching you. Somebody's always watching you. So even if you haven't necessarily identified, oh, these are the people that I'm leading, these are my apprentices, so to speak, you need to just be aware that there is always somebody behind you. Even if you take one step forward, there's always somebody who's waiting and watching to see how you did it. So make yourself available. Make yourself available for people to have access to you. And I'm not saying make yourself so available where you become ineffective or unproductive. But what I am saying is just be aware that in your life, depending on what level that you reach, when you reach that level, you'll know you should always, quote unquote, want to pass it forward. You should always want to pass down information, pass down gems, so that way you're not the only one winning in life. You want to make sure that the information that you're gathering as you're taking the steps necessary to win in life, as you're making your winning decisions, that you're passing on that information to the younger generation. You're passing it on, that information, to people who might have never been exposed to the information that you were. And you want to make sure that you have apprentices, basically people that you yourself are leading, whether that's through by example, whether that's through mentorship, whether that's through discipleship, whatever it is. There's a lot of different formats for it. But when you think about just winning in life, you need to have apprentices. And so to sum up this point, okay, this key, all right, in order for you to win in life, you are going to need to have success models, collaborators, and apprentices. And then the seventh and last key to winning in life is you need to have a passion project. Okay, a passion project. Now, let me be clear. This is something that can change based on the season in your life. At some point in your life, your focus may be your finances. Another season in your life, it may be your relationships. In another season of your life, it may be your family. In another season, it may have to do with your career, whatever it is. But you need to have a passion project at all time, something that just gets you excited, something that you don't require a dime in order for you to do it, just something that gets you excited, something that makes you feel really good, something that fulfills you when you do the action. And when you have your passion project, you are basically giving yourself energy. You're motivating yourself, where you are just self-motivated. And that's the easiest way to be self-motivated, is by having a passion project. Like for me right now, I would say I have 3 passion projects. I have 3. Number 1 is my marriage. And the reason why is because my wife and I, we talked about how in a day and age where no one really seems to want to get married due to ignorance, in my opinion, where no one really sees the value in marriage, we want our marriage to simply be an example. Simple as that. Like literally, this is what we talk about. We want our marriage to be an example for people that, no, marriage is great and it will help you as well. So that's a passion project for me. So when I think about how I operate in my marriage, I'm operating it from a lens of, no, this is for something that's even bigger than our marriage, which is great. But I know that if I love my wife well, and I know that if I operate well in my marriage, that can impact the world around me, whoever it may be, even if it's one person. That's good enough for me, and that's fulfilling to me. So that's one passion project. My second passion project is my church. You guys know that I'm an ordained minister at Hope Cathedral, where my dad started the church. That's a passion project for me, just because I see what my dad has built, and I also know what God has called me to do with it. And so because of that, with any type of work that I do that's related to Hope Cathedral, it excites me. It excites me because I know that I'm adding not only to the kingdom of God, but I'm adding to the vision, I'm adding to the foundation to what my Father has already built. And that is exciting to me. And the third passion project is exactly what I'm doing here with Craft Your Dream, where I get to empower and I get to coach dreamers like yourself. I get to help you guys achieve big goals and simply lead well. That's the entire mission and vision for Craft Your Dream, is for every single dreamer, all right, I get to coach them, but they get to achieve their big goals, and they just lead well. They just lead a life that's worth living. They lead a life that's worthy of their calling. And so those are all passion projects to me. So when I get to actually sit down and do these podcasts, I get to sit down and coach and put things together for the symposium and the different programs that are coming in 2025, sneak peek. But when I get to put these things together, I have a level of excitement. Now, be clear, for me, these things show themselves in the way of organization. These things show themselves in way of finances because it's part of my business. But that does not mean that has to be the case for you. But when you think about your life and you think about just, okay, winning in life, you need to have a passion project. What is the thing that fulfills you right now in this season, and how can you focus on it? How can you direct energy towards it? How can you make winning decisions in the area of your passion project? Just to recap all 7 of the keys, if you want to win in life, here are the 7 things that you need to do. Number 1, define what success is. Number 2, believe you can win. Number 3, take ownership of your decisions. Number 4, know your strengths, weaknesses, and blind spots. Number 5, add value wherever you go. Number 6, find success models, collaborators, and apprentices. And then number 7, the last key, have a passion project. All right. These are the 7 keys. If you want to win in life, these are the 7 things you're going to need to have. So I hope that this was helpful to you, like I said, but I'm going to ask 2 favors from you. And this is basically, the first favor is basically going to get you started on this process. The first favor is I just want you to download the growth guide that is in the description link below. And that is basically a free resource for you to create your own personal growth strategy to overcome fear and achieve your biggest goals, as well as learn about the 5 growth traps that can stop you from achieving those goals. All right. Secondly, I'm going to ask you to share this with someone you know, someone you love, someone you care about, because we talked about winning in life. And who doesn't want to win in life? These are very, very practical keys that you can share with them that could totally transform how they view their life, how they view their dream, and how they view their ability to achieve it. So I'm going to ask you to share this with someone that you know. And like I mentioned earlier, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, leave a review, and everything like that. So that way this show can go out to more dreamers like you who want to achieve success. So as you look forward to next week's conversation, go check out last week's conversation, and always remember that anything is possible when you lead well.